Hey everybody, welcome to another Good e-reader video review. My name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Today we're going to take a look at the Google Nexus 7 second generation, and Peter here is going to give you the full 360.
So you have the light sensor and the camera on the front. The front camera, of course, is a 1.2 megapixel. The screen goes throughout the bezel and is flush, and you get this nice piano finish on the side. You have two speakers, one on this side with the perforated holes that go all the way from end to end, and then one on this side that is kind of separated by the micro USB port at the bottom, which is used for transferring data and charging it. You have the ASUS logo here embossed, as well as the Nexus, and a 5 megapixel back camera, power standby button, microphone, volume up and down. The back has changed from the last version. The previous model, the 2012, had a perforated back. It kind of looked like this, little dots throughout. But this one just has a flat, hard kind of rubber plastic feel to it. So offers a decent amount of grip. Doesn't leave too many fingerprint marks, which is pretty good. So not a bad material chosen. Oh, and we also have a 3.5mm headphone jack for onboard sound.
Okay, well let's look at the specs here. And as you can see, the second generation Google Nexus is not a huge improvement, but it improves in the things that matter. The things that stand out to me is the resolution increase, 1920 by 1200, and they've seemed to have done business with Qualcomm to go with the Snapdragon processor. So you have a 1.5 gigahertz quad core, and you can see, of course, they've doubled the RAM, doubled the storage, and added a rear-facing camera, and most of the other things are relatively the same. Alright, let's take a look at the software aspect of things. It's of course running Android 4.3, and being a Google tablet, you're going to get upgrades faster than most other competitors' tablets. Of course, being with Good e-reader, we're more concerned about the overall reading experience, so we'll take a look at some of the apps we have installed here to give you a sense on how it all performs.
So we're going to open up Amazon Kindle. So we have a book we have purchased here called there we go, World Set Free. This is a book we purchased off of Amazon to give you a good idea of what it looks like on the Nexus 7. So that is full screen, very harsh white, so you can do a couple things to correct this by going to change the text. You can change it to sepia or sepia black. Unfortunately, everything does kind of fade away every time you change the colors, so a little bit of a downside there, but you have brightness, so you can kind of change the screen, get that ideal setting. You have margins, line spacing, and of course text size. You also have bookmarks and highlights and notes, and you can also search in books. So the very standard Kindle text augmentation and all that kind of stuff, so you can really, it's going to be consistent no matter what device you use it on, because Kindle is Kindle is Kindle. No matter which device you use it on, you're going to get the same awesome experience.
Alright, so being a tablet, page turns really fast. I mean, it's a quad-core processor. It could handle the e-reading experience. Well, how does it handle the graphic experience? Because when we're looking at more intensive things like magazines and comics,
we're going to check out Zinio, and this is an art magazine that we've purchased through them. And you can see the colors and the speed in which the page turns, very fluid. Obviously, there's not going to be any lag or anything like that. This will give you a good idea of the resolution. Resolution has been significantly upgraded from the last generation of Nexus 7 to this one.
Yeah, this magazine's often good because it has so many different colors, so you can kind of get a sense on how this will look across the entire color spectrum. So that's kind of like the reason why we look at these art magazines.
Art's always nice to look at too. So that's pretty much the magazine experience. Of course, there isn't any reflow because they are images, they're not PDFs, so they're not dealing with on-screen text. The text is embedded in the picture, so you will have to pinch and zoom in order to find that sweet spot, but that's not a problem because the thing is pretty much lightning fast, so you're never going to have a problem reading magazines on this device.
Okay.
We're going to look at a comic book now using Comics by Comixology. This is a Spider-Man comic. And of course you see that comics always look better in portrait because that's pretty much the way they've been forever, really. Except for those Garfield comics that were always kind of landscapey. But you see when you have frames like this, a quick turn to landscape solves that problem. It looks really good. And of course we are in panel mode here, so you can double tap out of that to get into the full mode. This is full screen portrait, and you can always pinch and zoom if you want to get in on that text box and you can't quite read it. And of course something you can't do in real comics are browse pages. So you can go through all the pages here, click on the one you want, and away you go. You can really see the resolution, screen size, and the colors really take effect here. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, fairly solid. All right, let's look at the newspaper experience to give you a sense on how replicas look.
We have the Vancouver Sun loaded on the Press Reader app, and this is the default view of this, and as you can see, it's very unreadable. That's because newspapers zoomed out are very unreadable by default, so you can do one of two things. You can pinch and zoom, like so, to get kind of a very close-up view. Or, as you can see, a lot of these headers are highlighted, so you can actually click on those, anything that's in a blue highlight, and it turns it into an ebook mode. So this is a reflowed mode of the actual page. It's more of an article view here. And you have some text options. You can press that to change the text style or the text size, and everything changes live, and you can tap out to get out. And you're actually reading every single article as you go along in this mode.
Yeah, I mean, suffice to say, I mean, it looks really solid, and the one kind of cool thing about this version of Android is that basically everything works in both landscape and portrait mode,
Right.
even on the home screen. So if you are more of a fan of landscape mode, I mean, some people are. I mean, I know I am. When I'm laying down, often my tablet is always in landscape mode. So it's personal preference, but this tablet is versatile enough to do it. Of course, there is the Google Android Store, which is basically your portal, and you can see that they've really undergone a facelift from prior versions of Android. This is the new home screen. They've really done a lot in terms of layout, overall presentation, and so on. So you can kind of get a sense on what the store is that you've loaded on it.
Looks really good now that they've really upscaled the thumbnails. They're very large now compared to the older version, and they've made the text on some of the headers here a little bit more dainty, but where it matters, everything is very clear, very simple to find, very easy to read. Everything's really easy to understand too, unlike, say, the Windows Store, where everything is the exact same set of colors and it's just looked like a muddled mess. But this is very clear. I've always liked this in the iOS store.
Yeah, I mean, this is very touchscreen friendly with all the icons being way bigger. So if you're on a 7-inch tablet, or even if you're on a phone now, I mean, they're more easily interactable,
Yeah.
which is what I like.
They've definitely optimized it for any screen size.
So final thoughts.
Overall, the experience on the Nexus 7 second generation versus the first generation, not a whole lot different. We've found that speed-wise, it's not night and day difference. They were both using quad-core processors. The Tegra 3 was a little bit of an older technology compared to the S4 Snapdragon. However, it's not that noticeable when you're using it for pretty much anything. I mean, Android stalls and force closes now and then, so regardless of which how fast your device is. It's always going to kind of do that. I must say I like the overall build quality of this a little bit more. I like how it has the speakers kind of opposing sides on the back where landscape is. They've added a new camera. They've added additional storage options for 16 and 32. Still don't have an SD card, but I think only the Nexus 1 had an SD card slot. Ever since then, it's all embedded memory. Overall, I mean, it's a great tablet. It's an unbelievable bargain. It's anywhere from $229 to $269, depending on the region you live in. After taxes and all that, in Canada, I think it was $260 for a 16 gig, so not too bad. Overall, I think I really like it. Mike, what do you think?
I think it's great. I mean, it's the second gen, and there's a, they're not really redefining the wheel here. It has a bit different of a back to it. It's very akin to a lot of other tablets that doesn't really have any outstanding features that make it stand out from the crowd if it's powered off. I mean, it looks like any other black tablet out there. But I do think that the quad-core processor by Qualcomm is really great. It has enough RAM and enough storage and really great resolution to make really game playing, video watching, all of that jazz look really good. And if you want to see this, playing videos and music and sound, check out some of our comparison videos where we compare it side by side with the Apple iPad Mini, the Kindle Fire HD7, Cobalt Arc, BlackBerry Playbook, and a myriad of others. And we're going to really compare the multimedia experience side by side, so you can get a sense on what it's all about. This is just a quick review of the Google Nexus 7 second generation. You can check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/goodyreader. You can check out our app store at apps.goodyreader.com, and for all the latest news, previews, interviews, and reviews on everything under the sun when it comes to e-readers and tablets, check out our website at goodyreader.com. And for Goody Reader, my name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Everybody take care.